The elephant in the room is your contract situation, and what led you to the decision to ask for a trade?
I mean, not getting too much into it. I think just a difference in opinion, and I don't know. I guess what we viewed my worth as a player, I guess, and that's where we ended up.
Has that been resolved to some degree?
Just gotta be at 318.
Or is it the request still stands?
It's not a
I
318.
mean, no, nothing's really changed from that, that front. But I wanted to get down here early and get to work. And I was working with Haynes all off season. He came down here, so I wanted to hit with him and finally have a semi-normal spring training for once. So.
Bryan, how do you or your teammates plan to keep this from becoming a distraction or a non-issue, whatever, in spring training? Like, how do you guys just move on from this?
I mean, personally for me, you'd have to talk to them about that, but I don't think it would be a distraction for me. I mean, I'm down here a week early and already starting to get my work going, and just going to focus on the same thing I've always focused on, try to be the best player and try to help us win, and do whatever I do.
Would you be open to talks resuming, or is that ship sailed?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been pretty open about, since the past few years that, my number one would be to sign an extension in Pittsburgh, but, I want that to be a fair deal for both sides, not one side or the other, not a crazy player, not a crazy team deal, but,
And communicate with people.
that's always been my number one.
How would you describe maybe where you are maybe in talks? I mean, is it crazy far apart? Is it close? Is there are there signs that maybe something could be worked out?
I mean, pretty much everything that's been out there is fairly accurate. Nothing's changed since any of that came out.
That's a pretty big gap then. In that case, I mean, that would seem to indicate maybe that the door might not be closed, but it's pretty close to closed.
I just told you guys where I stand on it, so if nothing changes, then we are where we are. But
Bryan, my impression of this has always been like the request was not made because you're unhappy here. Is
Right.
that a fairly accurate thing? Like, how do you sort of balance? A lot of times, a trade request is made. A player doesn't like playing in the city, but how would you sort of describe your enjoyment playing here versus the business end?
yeah, everything I've said, like what I just said, is is true. I've always said I like playing here. I like the city. I like the fans. I like the stadium. We like living in Pittsburgh for half the year. That's all true. And I'm happy. I like my teammates, I like the staff, I like all that. That was, I guess, the business side of it, if you will. But yeah, everything I've said is true. What I just said about my number one's true. And yeah, so that kind of sucked that it came to that, since that's how I feel. So that's kind of frustrating. But
Bryan, what are the chances that you think you'll be in the Pirates lineup on opening day? And do you feel like because you're here that you've made it clear that you're willing to play regardless of the differences, and that if they haven't traded you at this point, they probably won't trade you before the season starts?
well, of course, I'm willing to play. Like I said, I'm here. I'm always going to be where my feet are at, and I'm here right now, so I'm locked in for 100% Pirates, and whatever that takes, and I'm just down here now to get my work in and start to have a good season.
They don't have to do anything. You signed this year. You got 2 years of team control after that. Do you think they're going to wait you out? I mean, 3 years is a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's their court. Yeah, we couldn't force them to do anything. We just, I was frustrated, so wanted to get that. And I think we have a right to kind of have those emotions too, and that's what we did. But obviously, can't force them to do anything.
How frustrating to have this kind of going on in the background of like what was probably the first normal off-season and normal spring training in a few years.
Yeah, I mean, if I could have drawn it up, it wouldn't happen. If I could have drawn it up, I would have drawn it up that way. But that's not how it drew up this off season. But it didn't affect me with how I worked or any of my preparation or anything like that. It was just kind of like I said, a little background noise that was going on.
Bryan, what was your level of communication with people in the organization? I mean, you hit with Andy, but players, Shelty, Ben, anyone, did that change at all after?
No, I mean, I still talk to some of the guys on the team periodically, just not about this, just about random things. I'd reply to Bednar's stories and tell him he sucked and stuff, and talked to Shelty a lot, kept him updated on a bourbon room that we were putting in my house, and hit with Haynes 3 days a week. The day after, the day before, it all came out. So I mean, nothing changed from that front.
Bryan, assuming nothing changes, you probably will be next to Andrew McCutcheon in the outfield on opening day. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, that's gonna be cool. It'll be a little full circle coming from gaining that trade and answering all the questions about trying to replace McCutcheon. Now he's finally back, so we don't have to worry about answering those questions anymore. So it'll be cool, especially for how much it means to the people of Pittsburgh.
When the trade request came out, everybody was asking Kutch if he was replacing you, so it really has been full circle.
Yeah. So,
They had a busy offseason here. I mean, more than just McCutcheon. What are your thoughts from afar watching what they did this year?
yeah, they brought in some notable players. So, I'm excited to be down here and get to know them on a personal level and, get back in the grind with them and get out there with them.
You guys are coming off back-to-back 100-loss seasons, but even at the end of last season, you expressed optimism that you guys were trending in the right direction. How much do you feel like between the signings and maybe the growth of some of the younger players that got a lot of time last year, that this team could be better, perhaps significantly better than last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the hope for everybody. For that to happen, we need some of the younger guys to, really step into their shoes and, just have a bunch of people just play the way they can. So that's the hope. And, we'll see as spring goes on, but obviously that's the hope.
Bryan, at the risk of quarterbacking the deal through a media scrum, where does your stand? Like, the trade request is made, but are you guys still open if they would come in and say here's an offer that is a little bit more player friendly? Would you still listen to that? Would you guys have any plans on going back to them and saying this is what we think, or are you not? Are you guys just not thinking about any next steps contract wise?
I just said that I would sign a fair deal. So,
Okay.
I mean, I don't want it to be an unfair team deal. I don't want either side to come out of it and be like, man, kind of got us, I want it to be both sides got some skin in it, but yeah, definitely.
Did the Nimmo contract change at all? What's viewed as a fair deal?
I don't know. I don't want to get into any specifics like that, but different situations.
Did it change the market as far as you're concerned, though? Same position, similar age?
I don't know. I don't really want to get into any of that stuff, if that's all right.
That's good.